am going to introduce myself. I am Sri Duryodhan Meher, ex-principal cum reader in English, Gokul Parvati Rural College, Kuntara District, Sambalpur, State, Odisha. Today I am going to teach all of you a beautiful and magnificent poem called Daffodils, written by William Wordsworth, one of the greatest poets of Romantic age. Introduction of the poet. William Wordsworth is one of the major poets of his time. He was honored as England's poets laureate. He defined poetry as spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings arising from emotion recollected in tranquility. He is a great poet of nature and used common words to express his feeling warmly. This poem incorporates the ideas and aspects essential to romantic poetry. The field of daffodils is evidently the subject of this poem, making nature the most apparent feature throughout. Wordsworth adds a range of natural images such as lakes, trees, stars, and even clouds in this poem. Through nature, a tranquil mood is instantly created from the very first line. I wander lonely as a cloud. The atmosphere of the poem is very peaceful, and the use of nature creates a joyful setting. Not only the poet later impresses about what he saw, does he fully appreciate the cheerful side of the dancing daffodils. Study the poem and note how William Wordsworth glorifies the beauty of nature and the bliss of solitude. Text. I wander only as a cloud that floats on high over vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. In other words, one day the poet William Wordsworth was wandering lonely as a piece of cloud floating on high above valleys and hills and mountains. All of a sudden, he saw a crowd or group of or bunch of daffodil flowers which looked golden in color. By the side of the lake nearby, there were trees fluttering and dancing in the gentle breeze. मोर कहिबार माने होउछि कवि विलियम वर्ड्सवर्थ जेतेबेले दिने मेघखंड भलिया आकाश रे भासुथिले एवं से भासुथिले उपत्यका तथा पर्वत उपरे अति शीघ्र विलियम वर्ड्सवर्थ देखिले जे एक गुच्छ सुनेली रंगर डाफोडिल फूल गुड़िक समुद्र कूलरे ह्रद कूलरे प्रस्फुटित होइछन्ति एवं सेमाने ଧୀର ପବନରେ ଧୀର ମଳୟରେ ନାଚି ଉଠୁଛନ୍ତି। Continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way, they stretched in never-ending line along the margin of a bay. 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. On the other hand, the poet saw that there were continuous stars gleaming and glittering and twinkling on the Milky Way of the sky at night. The daffodil flowers spread and stretched in an unending line on the margin of the bay or sea. Actually, the poet did not count the flowers as 10,000s, but ordinarily he counted them as 10,000. The flowers were tossing and moving their heads sprightly, beautifully. অর্থাৎ কবি ଦେଖିଲେ ଯେ ତାରକା ଗୁଡ଼ିକ ରାତ୍ରିରେ ଆକାଶରେ ଅନବରତ ଭାବରେ ପ୍ରଜ୍ୱଳିତ ଜଲଜଲ ହୋଇ ଯାଉଛନ୍ତି ଏବଂ ସେହି ଫୁଲ ଗୁଡ଼ିକ ଗୋଟେ ଅସରନ୍ତ ସୀମାହୀନ ଭାବରେ ସମୁଦ୍ର କୂଳରେ ଫୁଟି ଅଛନ୍ତି ବା ପ୍ରସ୍ଫୁଟିତ ହୋଇଛନ୍ତି। ପ୍ରକୃତରେ କେତେ ସଂଖ୍ୟାର ଫୁଲ ଗୁଡ଼ିକ ଥିଲା ସେଟା କବି ଗଣି ନାହାନ୍ତି, କିନ୍ତୁ ଅନୁମାନ କରୁଛନ୍ତି ଯେ ବୋଧହୁଏ 10,000 ଫୁଲ ଗୁଡ଼ିକ ପ୍ରସ୍ଫୁଟିତ ହୋଇଛନ୍ତି, ଯେଉଁ ଫୁଲ ଗୁଡ଼ିକ ତାଙ୍କ ମୁଣ୍ଡ ଏପଟ ସେପଟ ମଳୟରେ କରୁଛନ୍ତି, ହଲାଉଛନ୍ତି। The waves beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. A poet could not but be gay in such a jocund company. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. I mean to say that the waves and tides of the sea and lake were dancing out of joy, gaiety, and pleasure. And the daffodil flowers excelled or outdid the sparkling waves of the sea, which were dancing out of glee, out of joy, and out of gaiety. Any poet could not but be gay and full of pleasure in such an hour, in such a jocund company. The poet gazed and gazed, saw and saw, but thought a little in his mind. And the poet thought that nature had brought a lot of wealth to his mind. ମୋର କହିବାର ଅର୍ଥ ହେଉଛି ଯେ ସମୁଦ୍ରର ଢେଉ ଗୁଡ଼ିକ ନାଚି ଉଠୁଥିଲେ। ସେହି ଡାଫୋଡିଲ ଫୁଲ ଗୁଡ଼ିକ ସମୁଦ୍ରର ଜୁଆର ଭଟ୍ଟା ବା ଢେଉ ମାନଙ୍କର ଅପେକ୍ଷା ଅଧିକ ଭାବରେ ଆନନ୍ଦରେ ନାଚି ଯାଉଥିଲେ। କବି କୌଣସି କବି ଏହି ସମୟରେ ଆନନ୍ଦିତ ନ ହୋଇ ରହିପାରିବେ ନାହିଁ। ଏହି ସମୟରେ କବି ୱିଲିୟମ ୱାର୍ଡସୱାର୍ଥ ଅଧିକ ଦେଖିଲେ କିନ୍ତୁ ମନରେ କମ୍ ଚିନ୍ତନ କଲେ ଏବଂ ସେ ଭାବିଲେ, ସେ ଅନୁଭବ କଲେ ଯେ ପ୍ରକୃତରେ ପ୍ରକୃତି ରାଣୀ ଫୁଲର ସମ୍ଭାର ଆଣିଛନ୍ତି। For oft when on my couch I lie, in vacant or in pensive mood, they flash upon that inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude. And then my heart with pleasure fills, and dances with the daffodils. So, very often, when the poet went to sleep on bed and remained in a couching position in his vacant or empty mind, he thought that the daffodil flowers flashed upon in his inward eye or internal eyes, which was the blessings of solitude, bliss of solitude. And his heart filled with pleasure and gaiety and danced with the dancing of daffodils. अर्थात जेतेबेले कवि शोइबाकू जाउछंती बा शोइले से समय तांकर हृदयटा दुखपूर्ण होइतिला एवं से फूल गुड़िक तांकर अंतर्निहित चक्षुरे लुचि रहितिला एवं से फूल गुड़ाक तांकर आनंदर उत्स थिला। सेही समय तांकर हृदयटा आनंदरे फुली उठिला एवं डाफोडिल मानकर नाच सहित नाची उठिला। धन्यवाद। थैंक यू। थैंकिंग यू ऑल माय फ्रेंड्स एंड डियर स्टूडेंट्स।